Scared yet? Good! Channel 20's Monster Movie Marathon continues after this.
Punk music is an outlet for frustration. What rock is all about.
Hello, and welcome to the Video Psychosis podcast. This is episode 13, our second episode of the year. We just put one out last month with Vince and Zunza. I'm your host, Strong Knots. This month on the show, we have a special guest. We actually just watched a movie together, so this is the first episode of the show where we're going to be discussing something that we just watched. Never done that before on the show. So I'd like to take a second to introduce my guest on the show today.
Hello, my name is Jorge.
And what is it, how did we meet? Was that through Bree and Andrew?
Yeah, Bree and Andrew. We have other mutual friends.
And they've been on the show. We talked to them before. I think when you all came over to my old house, we played some Atmosphere.
That game was a lot of fun.
Were you scared of the
handing me over?
Were you scared of the gatekeeper?
Nah, he's an asshole. Stop the tape.
Alright, so yeah, today on the show we're going to be talking about a bunch of different stuff. We just recently had the VHS swap. Oli VHS Fest 2020. That was right at the end of January at the Meeting House at Priest Point, and you were there for that. You had a table at the swap.
Yeah, I did. That was a lot of fun. We need to do that more often. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Great screening, too.
Cool.
And Chillers, right?
Yeah, that's right. We played Daniel Boyd's Chillers from 1987. It was pretty cool. A lot of people came out, so I'd like to take the moment to say thank you to everybody who made it out for that. Had a pretty decent turnout. I think about 30, maybe 40 people out there for that. Thanks to all the vendors, including you. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really needed that. It was good to get rid of some of these extra tapes I had laying around.
Nice. And did you get anything good there?
I got a Mystery Science Theater episode, I already forgot which one, and Psycho Part 3.
I got a few good tapes from you. I got Dark Star and Streetwise, that documentary, Crash and Burn, right?
And Rats,
Night of Terror, that's right. So yeah, everything, that was a pretty cool time. We're maybe setting another one up for June, also in Olympia, so we'll see what happens with that. Keep you updated on that as it goes. For now, yeah, like I said, we met through Andrew and Bree. They've been on the show before. We all have mutual taste in horror movies. I think we're all big fans of that, and a lot of our other acquaintances who have also been on the show, like Dormarth, you know. We've talked a lot about horror movies on the show before, and I think tonight we're going to talk about a few more. We actually just watched a movie, like I said earlier. This is from 1988 called Lone Wolf. What would you say was your verdict on Lone Wolf?
Well, I've been wanting to watch this movie for about 15 years, so to finally get to watch it was pretty thrilling. I don't know.
That's a long way. Were you thrilled enough after all those years? That's like over a decade, man.
I think I'm gonna keep the tape. It was highly entertaining. Not what I was expecting, but I kind of really dug the whole Scooby-Doo vibe that was happening.
What would you say if I told you the guy who directed this movie, John Callis, also directed over 20 episodes of Bobby's World?
What?
That cartoon. 26 episodes of Bobby's World.
Oh, man.
How do you think this stacks up in comparison to Bobby's World?
I like this better, actually.
I don't know. Did you ever play the video game for Bobby's World?
No, but I watched people play it.
That's probably a little better. But yeah, John Callis directed a bunch of that show. He also did some other TV work. This is his only feature-length movie. There's a few other people in this movie, literally only 2 other people, I think, that might be familiar to some of our listeners here. There's an actor named Kevin Hart, just like the famous comedian, but definitely not the same person. He plays the character Joel in this movie. He was also in this movie from 1987 called Mind Killer. And Mind Killer also has something in common with another person here, writer of Mind Killer, also wrote Lone Wolf, Michael Kruger. And he made this movie Night Vision in 1987 about a possessed VCR that lets viewers predict the future. Paul talked about Mind Killer on our episode. That's definitely one I still need to check out. This movie was made in Denver, Colorado in January 1988. And, would you say that, based on the view, do you think this movie accurately reflected the late 80s?
Actually, it did. Yeah.
Definitely in the hair department.
Yeah, the hair, clothes, the whole computer. What would you call it?
There's a little anti-computer rhetoric, like Death Spa and some other 80s movies, or like Evil Speak, maybe.
Yeah, that movie was actually pretty funny. It has some pretty good effects for their budget.
Yeah, not a lot of them though. Stretched out kind of throughout the movie.
I would say it builds up. They just start teasing you, and then they have like the best parts were saved for the last, for the ending.
That's true. It's mostly like people getting smacked in the head by the wolf, and then then there's a pretty nice little face smashing in there,
face peel, puncturings of some throat.
Yeah, like I said when we were watching, I couldn't even tell that's what happened. It looked like it just showed the wolf's face, and then all of a sudden the guy was like clutching his throat.
Yeah, so I think it was like the wolf's hand, like his fingers were going through his throat. It's kind of, the lighting wasn't the best, but
yeah, I somehow missed that. So I was
when he was going like that.
Don't windpipe me.
He was gurgling. He was gurgling on his own blood and saliva. Oh, that was a really cool vomit scene.
I think there was two vomiting scenes, weren't there?
Yeah.
'Cause there was that guy in the snow, and I feel like there was another one later as well.
Those were well done, well executed shots. Great acting.
Yeah, well, you got the great Kevin Hart in there, so.
And we can't forget about Siren.
Oh yeah, and Siren. There's a so I forgot to look this up, but. There's a band in the movie that you get to see play about 3 or 4 songs. And when we were watching the movie, there's an actor in the movie that's credited by the name Siren. And we thought that was just the band, because you see so many scenes of this band.
I think it's the blonde, awkward, punky girl.
Yeah.
I think that's Siren. The one that kept saying hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. Yeah. Also, just like the vomiting, two scenes of that, people saying hi to each other over and over again. One wasn't good enough; they had to bring it back again. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. But this movie, like I brought up to you as we were watching it, I thought it was surprisingly wholesome. It kind of takes a backseat to the whole werewolf story. It just mostly focuses on a bunch of teenage drama.
Yeah, teenage drama and computers. They all go to computer school. I don't. That's the only class that we ever get to see them in. They don't have any other...
They're always in computer class.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about DOS. DOS.
That's right.
But, oh yeah, and another thing too, because they're going to this school where they only take computer class, all the teenagers are obviously played by 20 and 30-year-olds. Kind of, I guess, a cliche of this genre. A lot of horror movies where there's older actors playing teenagers.
Yeah, a lot of those actors weren't so easy on the eyes, but they did their job.
Who was the guy who you said looked like the main character from Silent Night, Deadly Night 2? Was that wasn't Joel? It's the blonde guy.
His name was Skip.
Oh, was that Skip?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, lots of buffoonery in that movie. I don't know. I think I could have sprung for a couple more wolf attacks in that movie. There was a twist at the end. Were you able to predict the twist?
Pretty close to it was towards the end of the film when I was able to. I knew I had a good feeling. I thought he was allergic, and that's what gave it away.
Well, it's just like. No, like the not even the reveal of who the wolf is, because this is it's a quote-unquote horror movie, but there's it's more of a mystery. Like who is the wolf
it had
among
that
this group
Scooby-Doo mystery vibe, and it's kids,
but with
kind of
30-year-olds,
wholesome, like you said, wholesome 30-year-old kids. It's I don't know. I feel like it was a made-for-TV, like an after-school movie, but it obviously wasn't.
It might have been, and then they spiced it up with those gore shots.
Little gore shots, yeah.
That's right.
I don't know. It was fun though. It's just, I guess I'm a little let down, but that's okay. I love shitty movies. For now, it'll stay on the shelf.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was enjoyable. I wouldn't put it among some of the more entertaining of those late 80s movies, or maybe even like Wolf movies or whatever, but it's, you know, I've seen a lot worse. There was amusing things throughout.
It kept the same formula as most of the werewolf movies of, like, the 50s at least, like with the younger kids, like, trying to warn the authorities and the community and nobody taking them seriously. Like, that was completely played out, and the cops are just a joke. That I think they lent the comedy relief in this film was the police force.
Oh yeah, Kaminsky.
yeah.
There's an extended laughing and a phone call. What was his name? Very Harry.
Yeah,
that's right.
It sounds like your wife. He tells the captain. Yeah.
Get back to work, Kaminsky.
And get your feet off my desk.
That's right. Yeah. Didn't care for that guy, old Kaminsky. He was a shitter. Yeah. No, I mean, amusing enough. I mean, there's a lot of these movies where there's enough funny little things in it to keep me. It's like maybe not something I'd watch out or whatever, but it redeems itself, I think, because you can't have it both ways.
It was definitely charming.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, it's they talk about this movie in the Bleeding Skull book about the 1980s. They admit that it's like more of a movie that's supposed to like yearn back to your nostalgic, days of romance. But except when you were 30 and still in high school. But no, I don't know. Yeah, enjoyable. Not among the better ones.
None of the dudes got to score either. Like, there's no...
It was wholesome.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
There's no nudity, no...
It's almost like a Cristiano Brothers movie or something.
Yeah. And all the dudes were just always interrupted, right? Even just for a simple kiss. I knew the dude was gonna get...
Yeah. Got lip blocked.
Lip blocked.
That's right.
What an interesting film. Can't believe I've been waiting this long to watch it. I'll watch it again.
What are some werewolf movies that you're a fan of? Like, specifically, would you say?
Oh, shit. My favorites, of course, American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
But aside from that, Werewolves on Wheels is... Oh, I love that movie. Mm-hmm. A lot of people. I'm not sure if it's for everybody. It's a biker exploitation movie. In that film, we rarely get to see any werewolves. But they do show us some pretty badass scenes, especially in the final 13 minutes of the film. It pays off. The rest of the film itself has a great soundtrack, like super great acting. Like they just hired regular folks. There's no script.
Yeah.
They're just letting them be themselves and improvising. It gives it a really good, realistic quality. Super good shit, though.
So good,
I highly recommend it.
Good soundtrack to that movie.
Yeah, the whole feel is really good. I'm gonna make you watch it with me soon here.
Yeah, I'll need to see that. I guess I'll need to see that. What is there anything else in particular?
Werewolf movies. The Werewolf of Washington is pretty funny.
Oh yeah. What about Wolfen with Albert Finney? You like that one?
Yeah, Albert Finney. You were talking about him earlier today. You thought you saw
that's
him.
Right. There was that. There was some modern boxing movie with Miles Teller on TV, and that guy from There'll Be Blood seemed like he was doing an Albert Finney impersonation, and everybody in that movie talked the same from the 10 minutes that we watched. Aaron Eckhart with a bald wig and a pillow on his stomach.
Bastard?
Yeah, everybody. Why you just gotta go one more round, Frankie. Everybody in that movie talked like that from the 10 minutes we watched. But actually, humorously, before we watched Lone Wolf, we tried to watch another movie, and there was no luck with that.
Oh, yeah.
Memorial Valley Massacre.
Yeah, I was really excited to watch that one. That would have been a first-time watch for me today as well. I've heard good things about it, but unfortunately, the video cassette
got a little squeaky.
Had some issues. I'm going to repair that, though.
Gonna get it fixed up. Gotta hold on to Memorial Valley Massacre.
Yeah.
So what about like the 7 minutes you saw of it? Pretty great, right?
Oh, yeah, that was super good, man. It had me so stoked.
Cameron Mitchell.
Yeah, Cameron Mitchell, Dead Dogs.
And Tainted Water.
Tainted Water.
Yeah. And then Deke Brown, he's pretty cool. Please be quiet.
Deep Brown.
we thought his name was Deep Brown at first. It was Deke on like second or third watch of that scene. That became apparent. No, I don't know. That was a pretty strong 7 minutes. We'll need to finish that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it fixed up. That's one of the downfalls with videotapes. They tend to be particular.
You never know what you get into sometimes. Everything can look alright. You're also a movie collector like me, and you've got a bunch of classic films, a good mix. Primarily I collect horror movies, but you've got like a really good mix of decades and sort of subgenres there. You've got a lot of the classics, but you've also got a lot of these 70s and 80s movies. What would you say are maybe some of your favorite movies that you own from your collection?
Well, Repo Man, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Headless Eyes is a great one.
Is that the early 70s movie?
Yeah, it's the beautiful cover art on the box, but
movie's not like that.
It's weird. It's a weird movie. I mean, it's about an artist dude, and it's got a lot of it's got a societal undertones.
Yeah, it's like
a
little subtext thrown in there.
Class war in a sense.
Yeah,
and it's real gritty. It's pretty gory too.
Yeah, that's one that kind of has that vibe a lot of those.
It's pretty nasty.
Of those early 70s or like stuff like that, like maybe Andy Milligan or H.G. Lewis or.
Yeah, I mean, it's different than H.G. Lewis's work.
It's a little more serious, or takes itself seriously.
It's got like some real footage of like real life in like, I think it was filmed in like New York or New Jersey or somewhere on the East Coast back then. So you get to see a lot of just everyday life, and the footage is old and yellowed, and it just gives you that whole gritty vibe, and where you just want to take a hot shower after watching the movie, you know?
Yeah. All right. So, what would you say is something else there?
There's so many to choose from. I guess with my collection, I've just mainly kept it between the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah. I
got a few movies from the 90s. I really feel like I need to like venture out of my comfort zone, but start watching different shit. But that's what I got you here now for. I don't know. I mean, I got shit like Blood Freak, Dawn of the Mummy. I like mummy movies.
Dawn of the Mummy, that's the 80s movie, right?
Yeah, that's an 80s movie.
I have a copy of that. I haven't watched that yet. I've been meaning to see that.
Yeah, I really, that one's high up on my top favorites.
Why is that?
I think I'm just obsessed with ancient civilizations, and that's just, I don't know. I love everything Egyptian.
And is there like
a cooler one though is Time Walker? Have you ever seen Time Walker?
Time Walker, no.
Yeah, Time Walker is one I think you would enjoy. It's from 1982. It's also very wholesome and Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
It's like a mystery, like there's kids. This takes place on a college campus, so at least the kids look their age, portrayed by the actors, I mean.
Yeah. It's not obviously people 10
years older
than
juniors in high school. No, it's a college campus anyways. They discover a mummy in Egypt, and it gets shipped to this school to be studied, and one of the asshole students decides to rip off some gems that were in the sarcophagus.
Yeah.
And it's an ancient alien. The mummy is not from this world. He's like an alien that's been wrapped up since 4,000 years ago, and he just wants to get home. And they woke him up and stole like basically those jewels are the key for his ticket home, to call home, ET phone home shit.
Yeah.
Like and like this kid's like just selling them and pawning them and giving them to his girlfriend, like all the jewelry.
Not good.
So like, yeah, it's a very fun movie. And there is some cool death scenes, like for it being wholesome and not gory, there is some pretty cool brutal deaths that are on screen. If you like to watch that kind of shit.
That's not too much different from Lone Wolf. Just the occasional moment.
I think that Time Walker is better than Lone Wolf.
Okay.
Yeah, I would give 2 more stars than Lone Wolf.
What about Time Rider? Have you seen that one?
No, but I wanna.
No, yeah, I need to see that too. I have a copy of that. I still need to watch that. Maybe we'll need to watch that one.
Yeah, we could have maybe the next time we get together, we could have a time traveling
trilogy.
Trilogy, yeah.
Nice. Nice. What would you call some other titles?
What would I call them?
Or what are some other titles? You call them whatever you want.
It's all garbage. I like garbage. I am a garbage brain. I just got a couple new movies recently. Dark Night of the Scarecrow and New Year's Evil. The Blob. The remake and the original. I mean, I like shit like that. I got a lot of them fancy movies that everybody's after too, but Return of the Fly, how about that? With Vincent Price?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we talked about that on the show. I watched that for Halloween, I think, a couple of years ago. It's a good one. There's a third one, yeah.
There's a third one, and the third one is actually better than the sequel. Yeah, it's he's like making weird, like he's trying to get humans through it, and they just keep coming out so disfigured, like, and he just doesn't want to kill them because it's inhumane, so he's got like a prison for like all these like half mutated humans. It's no longer just like a fly dude. Rat dude and fucking roach dude and mole man, like they're all in there and locked up, and they finally decided like there's more of us than that one scientist dude.
I need to see that.
It's a good one. Black and white. Oh, Deranged. Do you like Deranged?
I do. That's a classic. Deranged is awesome. That's a great movie.
There's one you haven't seen.
House on Sorority Row.
Yeah. That was going to be our second pick tonight, but we went with Lone Wolf instead. Because I had not seen Lone Wolf.
And what you would say, House on Sorority Row is one of your favorites?
Yeah, I'd put it in the top 10 favorites for now. I mean, it always changes, but...
What is it about that movie is that your favorite sorority movie?
Yeah, actually, it probably is.
What puts it above, like, the other ones? All that other stuff? Like
I don't know, the acting is just so much better in this one. It's more believable. It's still got that 80s camp cheese flavor, but I don't know, I just like the girls. They did a great job acting, and the house mother is a complete bitch, and even the girls themselves are perfect. Everyone's so mean and nasty, and it's very believable.
Nice. So that's like one of those darker movies. Yeah,
I mean, it still has its humor and its lightheartedness, but it's got a revenge twist to it, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could say that. I mean, the basic plot is, like, these girls are about to, like, it's their final year and they're going to graduate. They just want to have, like, a party. And the house mother is like, no parties. And they're like, man, we've had enough of that lady.
That jive talk.
That jive turkey for the past 4 years. Like, we're going to have the party. No matter what she says. The house mother just starts tearing down all the decorations, whatever. She just does not want to have the party, so they're like, all right, we're going to prank this old broad. And we're going to prank her good, but the prank goes wrong. And everybody, it just, like, say you're trying to get away with something, and it's just like, everything that go wrong is just going to go wrong.
Yeah. There's a lot of those, like, prank-themed horror movies from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like April Fool's Day or, like, Sleepwalking Up 2.
Yeah. This one's better than those, in my opinion. And like I said, I like trash movies.
Yeah, so one movie that we recently talked about, this is a movie that I thought I had seen when I was younger, but I was confusing it with another movie because I think they were on like a double feature DVD. Don't Look in the Basement, I was confusing this with. Yeah, I remember having a DVD with both of those movies on it, but you were talking about Unhinged, and I remember knowing about it for a long time. Like I said, thought I'd seen it, but I ended up watching that recently because I know you enjoy that one, and I have to say that one was pretty interesting. I liked Unhinged.
Yeah, man, Unhinged is a really great movie. It was actually filmed out here in the Great Pacific Northwest in the Portland area. But anyhow, that movie has a lot of great shots of the whole area, so it feels like we're right here when we're watching it. The soundtrack is pretty killer. The plot, well, that's something else too. I really liked it. What'd you think? I mean, you watched it, right? Unhinged,
yeah. Well, Unhinged is weird because it flips all over the place, where you've got like a lot of setup for like the first half of the movie. And then it suddenly starts to get a little bit, spicier as it goes along. Then it's one of those gender twist movies at the end. There's a lot of those in 80s horror. And,
Hide and Go Shriek. Have you seen that movie?
I haven't seen that one, but I mean, that's a pretty, it's in a bunch of movies.
Strip to Kill.
Like Sleepaway Camp, of course, and then you've also got, like, a Killer Workout. So, but, I mean, Unhinged it's got some cool, low-key music in it. The music in it's pretty nice. I liked that. And
I really did like the soundtrack. It's
funny how, like, placid the actresses in that movie are. They're, like, very casual. They don't, I don't know when the last time you saw was, but they, like, it's not even just, like, their line deliveries. They just seem, like, so vacant. And just, like, and also the plot, the way they react to it, the characters, if you remember, it's like they get in that car crash, so they're stuck at this creepy old lady's house. One of the friends is, like, in a room because she got banged up from the car crash, but the other friend never, like, asks to see her for, like, the whole, like, most of the movie.
There's a lot of, indiscrepancies in that film. A lot of, like, what the fuck? A lot of loose ends and, like, what the hell? Like,
it's got one of those crazy wheelchair grandmas, just like in Creep Tales.
Yeah, it's a harder to find film, so I guess that's what drives people to want to watch it. I think most audiences might be let down by it, but like I said, if you like trash and lowbrow and garbage, then it's for you.
I mean, it's surprisingly, like, kind of tasteful for a while, and then it just goes right for all the exploitation stuff in the last half. So I think it kind of, if you stick with it, it's pretty interesting. It's not as talked about, though.
Yeah, it's not really. One interesting thing is, though, the cover art on that videotape is, like, straight up taken from another videotape.
Is that from another movie, the cover art on that?
No, it's just like, how sometimes people they just bite the art off of something else and use it for their own.
Yeah.
But I noticed the tape not that long ago where I was like, damn, this shit looks real familiar, and then I put it next to Unhinged, and it was like, oh man, this artist just straight up stole this dude's artwork.
Yeah, like they do that with like the VHS for Cutting Moments also is the same, like, guy with a chainsaw on the cover of this Todd Sheets movie. It's like the exact same. I can't remember what movie, but
yeah, Unhinged was fun. It was definitely worth watching.
I mean, the ending is a lot more memorable than a lot of those movies, so it's pretty.
I like shitty movies.
So what else there?
Deadly Prey. I know you like that movie.
Deadly Prey, yeah, that's the prior movie.
Pigs. I like Pigs.
I still haven't seen Pigs. I need to see that.
It's a dirty old 70s movie too, but I like it.
Is that like one of those grimy movies?
What about the last horror film?
Oh, I have that on Betamax with Joe Spinell. It's a great movie.
Yeah, that movie is super good.
You get to see Joe Spinell smoke a joint with, I think, his
mom.
His mom. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
His mom. This movie is super good, and there's like a lot of references that hidden. I don't know. I could be wrong, but like in the movie Scream, the name of the movie, the fake movie that's
in this movie
in
too.
This movie,
I don't even remember that.
Just little hidden nods and shit that Wes Craven took from here. And I used to say that the last good slasher horror film was that, and people hate when I say this, but was Scream. Like, for a moment, like, I was like, after Scream, there was never another good slasher, a fun slasher movie ever made. And I used to call that one the last horror film. I've been put to rest at that a long time ago. Like, that's not the case anymore. But for a while, it was.
The last horror film, that also has Carolyn Monroe, who's also in Maniac with Joe Spinell.
Yeah.
So another collaboration with those
Carolyn Monroe is beautiful.
Yeah, she's in a lot of movies. Star Crash.
Mm-hmm. Slaughter High.
Is she a 30-year-old playing a teenager?
Yeah. She gets Marty Ranson up in that shower, like on the other side of the stall.
Oh, right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to rewatch that. I've only seen that once. It was a couple of years ago, but I have that on tape.
Well, there's a great movie though that's in my top favorites. Slaughter High. Like there's several versions. You need to watch the full unedited, complete version.
Do you enjoy Doom Asylum?
I've only watched that one once, many years ago, and it was so memorable that I don't remember anything other than like I think I watched it at Tori and Ian's house, and I just none of it. It went in one ear and out the other, and one eye and out my just brown eye.
All right,
I'm down to try it again though. Doom Asylum. I hear it's like that's a hot title, but
I mean it's got like some amusing gore and a lot of really bad, comedy that probably tries too hard to be funny, but.
I know that everybody wants it.
I just because that one reminds me of Slaughter High with the just kind of like a cynical sort of sense of humor and occasional like gore. That's pretty hard hitting. But what else? Any other movies that come to mind? The last horror film aside from that?
Well, we recently watched Necromantic
at Video Valhalla.
Yeah, I didn't see you there that night, but it was a decent turnout, and I had not watched Necromantic in about 13 years. I mean, I got it up there. I just never watch it.
Yeah, it's not one you watch often.
Yeah, but that's a really endearing love story. That's one that you guys probably already have discussed on here. But
I know Paul he's a big fan of that one and the second one. Yeah,
I've yet to witness the second one.
That's funny. I still need to see the second one too. Yeah, another quick shout out there, I guess. Our friend and guest on the show, Paul Malik. He's hosting a monthly film series in Olympia at the Cryptotropa Bar called Video Valhalla. That's pretty sweet. He's playing double features on VHS once a month. There's usually popcorn, some other snacks for sale. You're a fan of Death Dream, a.k.a. Dead of Night, that Bob Clark movie.
Yeah, I like that movie. What are your thoughts on it?
It's a good one. Yeah, I like that one. It's really that scene where he like wrecks that dog. It's pretty brutal. But that's one of those movies that has a little bit of a social message also, like we brought up before earlier.
Yeah, it's a heavy hitter.
It's like a response to Vietnam movie.
Another one that's kind of harsh like that is Don't Go in the House. That's one that most people are should be familiar with by now, but if not, I'd recommend
really like that movie,
recommend it.
You're talking about the one with the guy who had the crazy mom, and he's got the
pyro slasher.
Yeah, that's
like the one and only movie. Pyro slasher fucking film.
That's a grimy one, and it gets like that weird supernatural shit at the end, like with his mom or whatever. Yeah, I really like that one. When I first saw that movie, we talked about this earlier. That's one of those movies when I first saw it when I was younger, I was like, this is boring. When I rewatched it a few years ago, I was like, damn, this movie is actually like super creepy.
Yeah,
like that scene where
it's pretty heavy.
You remember where they're like in the bar and he like throws the flame drink on the chick.
Yeah,
she's like,
the girl. And her brother's all like, "What the fuck, dude?" And chases his ass down and wrecks him in the alley. But like, yeah, dude, like that's like
that was an intense scene.
It's like, what? He just did that.
Yeah,
this is a movie from 1980.
Yeah,
80.
Yeah, that's a pretty weird one. I like Don't Go in the House.
Yeah.
What
Don't
else?
Answer the Phone was pretty nasty too, but I mean it's not as harsh as Don't Go in the House. But anyhow, shit, man, the list goes on and on. We got funny ones like Slime City and Killer Workout or Uninvited. You've seen The Uninvited?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. You have that one. I saw you had that one in your movie room. Summer Camp Nightmare. It's not a horror movie, but definitely a good feel for teenagers and angst in the 80s.
Kind of like Lone Wolf, a little bit, like we talked about.
No, it's a little better.
Well, no, I just mean the teen angst theme.
Yeah, no, these kids are like,
are these
fuck
actual
authority.
kids in this movie?
Yeah, they just hate the camp counselor dudes. All like, today we're gonna go and observe butterflies, and all the kids want to do is like smoke weed and listen to music and fuck. And they're like, man, fuck these counselors. It's like a whole bunch of they're like 70-year-old camp counselors, and the kids are just like all punks and like outcasts and rebels, rebellious kids. So it's not the good mix for a summer camp.
So what, they just like take over the summer camp?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Lord of the Flies, but well, no, sort of, but fuck the old and in with the new kind of an attitude, you know. It's kind of shitty, but you got your kids in there that mean well, and it's got a good end. Highly entertaining.
Nice. I'll need to check that one out. That's one I've known about for a while, but still haven't seen. Need to see that. So, what else there?
Modern Problems.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
What is it about that movie?
Oh, dude, that movie is pretty bizarre for the time it came out in early 80s. That movie is just hilarious. He's unhappy. He's just an unhappy average Joe. You know, he's unhappy with his life and work. Gets this toxic sludge just dumped all over him, like when he's behind the truck, like on the highway. Something happens and it just pours all over his car and on him, and he obtains like these powers to like use telekinetic forces and telepathy, and he's just like all of a sudden superhuman. And all hell ensues.
He's doing blow.
Yeah, he's getting wired, and he's got this crazy voodoo friend, and like, I don't want to ruin it. Nell Carter, you know Nell Carter?
No.
Oh, you need to look her up. She was a hilarious comedian from the late 70s and early 80s, but she's a great, big, jolly, angry black woman, and she just tears everybody up all the time. That was her stand-up comedy, was like cracker this and honky that. But anyhow, she's hilarious, and she's like a voodoo witch priestess, and that's like his homie.
Okay.
And yeah, cocaine, and it's like a totally wrong. It's so incorrect in all the best ways.
And you're not much. You don't really. You mostly watch horror movies.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
have you bust out this comedy out of nowhere. Is there like any other movies like that you're? Like
well, the typical ones.
I mean, you brought up Repo Man earlier. But.
Yeah, I mean, I like 9 to 5 with Lily Tomlin and Dolly Parton. Yeah, I mean, that movie is a classic.
Their boss,
That
Dabney Coleman.
Dabney Coleman, yeah. Shit, I got some fun movies up there where you wouldn't think.
Otis.
Yeah, Milo and Otis. I wish. Well, you know, one of the reasons I keep that movie is because it's fucked up. Like, have you ever watched it?
No, I've never.
It's actually a fucked up movie. Like, they wreck so many cats and dogs in that movie. That's the movie. I think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that movie, Milo and Otis, is what got the PETA to stop using animals in these situations in filmmaking. And like the PETA stepped in and was like, all right, no more animals in movies in this sense. Because when you watch that movie, like, you think it's the same dog and cat throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
But apparently, like, they went through like 17 cats and 12 dogs. They just kept finding one that looked the same.
They just keep drowning.
Yeah, they were drowning, and they were like throwing them off cliffs and letting seagulls attack them, and like, this is all part of this kids movie.
All for kids.
It's a kind of fucked up movie.
Oh man, did they make it out all right, Milo and Otis?
Yeah, at the end, but it was already after like 5 years of filming it, and 17 cats and whatever how many ever dogs.
3.5 dogs later.
Dude, there's a scene where like they throw the dog into the river, and he makes it to the embankment, and a bear comes out, and they just keep filming. Well, let's see what happens. Let's just let the bear and the dog meet, and the bear and the dog get into a fight, and it's a bear and a little pug, like a little fat little pug dog. Dude, and the bear is just like, and the dog's just rolling around and shit, and then like, I think, like, if you buy the movie now, all these scenes are, like, cut out of it.
Oh, man.
So if you have it on a tape, like, you get to see,
fight.
if you have the original release,
yeah,
then you get to see, like, all these gnarly scenes that are no longer in the current releases of it. I'm pretty positive.
It's too much for kids.
Yeah, it was pretty fucked up.
I mean, there's, like, a history of that with that.
Milo and Otis. Talking about horror movies, that's a pretty horrific scene, though. The poor little cats, dude, and dogs that died in the filming. It's true.
Would you say, in general, are you like a fan of like pet horror movies? Do you like pet horror movies? Like, you know, well, not even pet, just animal.
Or Animals Gone Wild,
yeah,
or animal movies. Yeah, I like some of them. I got some like Razorback or
that's a good one.
Like,
Australian movie.
Yeah, Link
Mulcahy.
or Primal Rage is a good one that never gets talked about.
I heard that's good. I want to see that.
Dude, it's really good. It's got like the soundtrack has like metal, like Iron Maiden and Motorhead, kind of like that one Dario Argento movie with the monkey running around.
Phenomenon?
Yeah, Creepers, Phenomenon. Like, it's like that same kind of music, and like it's like Monkey Studies gone wrong. It's a good movie.
Just like the Lawnmower Man at the beginning. So one thing we haven't talked about in any of the episodes of the show so far, I don't think we've really talked about Penelope Spheris, the director, and I'm a big fan of her work. She's done a lot of cool movies. I know you like a couple of her movies. I just watched The Boys Next Door a couple weeks ago. Have you seen that one with Charlie Sheen?
I don't think I have.
I've seen a lot of her movies over the last few years and just been familiar with her for a long time because she's done popular movies like Wayne's World, obviously, and she did the Beverly Hills Hillbillies movie.
Did that movie?
She directed that, and she also made the I think the Little Rascals movie.
Man, I need to look up her current works. Yeah, I'm familiar with like the old punk stuff, like Dudes and Suburbia.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Decline series.
There's a lot of films in there, so I've overlooked a few, and I'm just kind of catching up. But The Boys Next Door is really good. I think you would like that. It's basically Charlie Sheen is this smart-ass teenager who goes on a him and his friend decide to go out to L.A. on a spur-of-the-moment road trip after graduating, and Charlie Sheen's going to go work in a factory or something, and his friend is obviously like a psychopath. And so when they go out to L.A., it kind of turns into a killing spree.
This all sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah,
The Boys Next Door.
It's really interesting. Really, really good movie. Like I said, I didn't know much or hadn't heard much about it, so I never thought much, but I think it was recently released on Blu-ray. And saw a guy I know, I think Robin from Cinema Sewer, talking about it, so I checked it out. Yeah, pretty solid movie. I mean, she's done a lot of cool stuff. Hollywood Vice Squad is pretty neat. That's not talked about very often. It's got Carrie Fisher. Pretty interesting little movie. But I would say most famous, aside from like Wayne's World probably, for her punk documentaries, the Decline of Western Civilization series. You're a fan of punk. You've seen that movie.
Yeah. That's what I grew up with. That movie was actually highly inspirational. In my formative years.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really painted a picture of the music I loved. And then when I watched Suburbia, it was like just a reflection of real life. Yeah, I really dig movies like that. And her work is amazing. I really got to check out this Boys Next Door you're talking about.
Yeah, you've seen Dudes. I still haven't seen Dudes yet.
Yeah, Dudes is a different take.
It's like more of a comedy.
Yeah, it was like a supernatural comedy. It's pretty deep, like in a funny way, tapping into that cosmic unconsciousness kind of a vibe.
And Flea is in that movie, and Danny Roebuck.
And Lee Ving is in that movie.
Nice, Lee
from
Ving,
Fear. Yeah, he's in there. He plays a villain. He plays a great villain in all the roles he's ever taken. I really wish I had not gotten rid of that movie. It'll come back to me though. That's an awesome movie.
So I mean, aside from just the first Decline movie, do you like the other ones? You've seen two.
I've seen the Heavy Metal Years one. I have not seen the third one.
I bought the sequel, the Metal Years one, from you at the VHS swap. I'd seen it before, but I had to get that because
it's fun.
It's fun. It's hilarious, but it's also probably like one of the most depressing movies.
Yeah, it's a sad look on our youth
like
today, our culture.
You remember that part where she like interviews all of them, and she's like, "So what do you want to do for a living?" So I'm gonna be a rock star. Like, so what are you gonna do if that doesn't work out? I don't know. I'll probably just fucking be a bum. They had like 20 different people all have that same answer. Mm-hmm. She's like, but what if, she keeps asking, but what if it doesn't work out? Seriously, but what if it doesn't work out?
Yeah, that's the youth of
but
today.
What if you don't?
Well, now they could be, we could all be internet stars or something.
Maybe.
Instagram stars.
I love that part. There was like some, this is so stupid, but there was like some controversy over that movie, because do you remember those scenes with Ozzy? Where he's talking in the kitchen while he's cooking breakfast, like he's cooking eggs, and there's a part where he's talking and he goes to pour some orange juice and he like spills it all over the table.
Yeah, I don't know.
There was like controversy because it's that the part where he spilled the orange juice all over the table didn't happen during the part that, you know, where you hear him talking. They just cut that part in because they thought it was funny. And people were like, that didn't actually happen while he was saying that. It's like, dude, who cares? It's so funny. But, I mean,
spilling the orange juice?
Yeah, he's dude, you just gotta see it. Because he's like, it's funny because it's almost like a glimpse into the life of the rich man, you know, just haphazardly making breakfast and like, there's fucking orange juice all over the table. But I don't know, it's like a little thing. And like that scene with the guy in the pool from that one band who's like getting wasted on vodka. Getting wasted on vodka with his mom, just like all embarrassed sitting by the pool.
There's a funny scene in the first one where it's Darby Crash making breakfast all haphazardly.
Somebody give me a beer.
Yeah, he's making fucking the nastiest breakfast I've ever seen with green jelly. And he's got his girlfriend talking about like the dead painter, Mexican painter.
Yeah. In
the yard across the street when the cops were asking him, like, how long has he been dead there? They're like, we don't know. We called you to come look at him. And he's like, I don't know. I was on Quaaludes and Valiums and beer. And he's spreading butter on green jelly on toast with, like, brown eggs.
Yeah.
Brown scrambled eggs.
Oh, man. And that's and I think that's part of the reason that Penelope Spheris is an interesting director. Because I mean, even aside from the documentaries, when you make like a documentary, you can get funny, just random interesting things like that to put in your movie. But she's really good with fiction movies,
yeah.
Dudes
is very, very entertaining. It's got like this Native American spiritual edge to it, and also like the whole anti-establishment kind of punk flavor is still present.
Yeah.
And about sticking true to yourself. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of hidden messages in there. Like, you could watch it over and over and interpret it in many different ways. But Dudes is up there. And it's
Ducky's best hour.
Yeah. Ducky's best hour.
That's right. Yeah, no, Penelope Spheris, I don't feel like she gets enough credit. She's done a lot of really interesting work, and it's just like cool how all over the place her career is. Like, it's just funny to
mad love for her.
Yeah, she's super cool. So special shout out to her. We haven't been able to talk about her on the show yet, so get a little bit of love in there. We were just talking about this a little bit earlier. Coffin Joe just passed away. Zedo Kaishan. You're a fan of his work?
Yeah, Fortunately, I'm not too familiar with as much as I'd like to be. I've heard of it all, and I'm familiar with it in that sense. But as far as what I've actually seen is just At Midnight I'll Take Your Soul.
Yeah, I mean, At Midnight I'll Take Your Soul is probably one of my favorite horror movies. I really like that because it's got like some of that like Boonwell, like blasphemous sort of anti-Catholic stuff in it. It's also got like occasionally brutal scenes and.
Yeah, I mean, he's a nasty man. I mean, in
just look at those fingernails.
Like, yeah. I mean, he was cold and bitter, but that was just the role. I'm sure. Well, hopefully, he wasn't like that to his loved ones, but you never know.
Eating meat on Sundays. Yeah. So, R.I.P. to Coffin Joe. There, give him a special shout there, real quick. I guess that's going to conclude it for the 13th episode of the Video Psychosis podcast. Next month we're going to have a special guest on, so stay tuned on our Facebook. We're going to have more to say about that. There's going to be more guest speakers in the future. We've got potentially another event coming up. Make sure to check out the notes on the website. We've got reviews. We're usually posting reviews almost every day or some other form of movie news on the Facebook, so check the notes and you'll find a few more movie reviews in there, a couple essays, stuff like that. For now, that's going to conclude the 13th episode of the Video Psychosis podcast. I'm Strong Nuts.
And I'm Jorge Flores.
And goodbye.
Good night.